Internal Order Police is going to stand behind our members in doing what they were sworn to do. When they took their oath of office, they were sworn to uphold the local, the state, and federal laws, and we are going to do that.
There's one person that's not here today. We're in Chicago. Superintendent of Chicago Police, Eddie Johnson.
Been one of the greatest accomplishments of my career. And it's with that in mind that I want to announce my retirement today. It's time for someone else to pin these 4 stars to their shoulders. But I'm confident that I leave CPD in a better place than when I became superintendent. That would be disingenuous if I didn't say this job has taken its toll. Taken a toll on my health, my family, my friends, but my integrity remains intact. And I'm proud of what the department has accomplished during my tenure. Best leaders don't bark orders or point fingers. They lead by example. And I hope that the example that I've set inspires someone. Maybe another kid from the South Side. Maybe it inspires that kid to work hard and do the right thing, and maybe even join the department.
Midnight here at 34th and Aberdeen when police were dispatched to a report of a man behind the wheel of a stopped car.
13 Robert.
13 Robert.
Person slumped over the wheel, 34th place in Aberdeen and 34th place. Caller said there's a person asleep at the stop sign in a black Chevy Tahoe.
The department says officers did not observe any signs of impairment and the superintendent drove himself home. A short time later, the officers who responded to the incident were called to an in-person, off-the-air meeting with a supervisor.
13 Robert, where are you close to? So I can put you down for a meet with him, Robert.
3-1 in Halsted. We can meet wherever you see that.
Detail that normally drives him wherever he's going. It's unclear why he wouldn't have had that last night. We were told he was at dinner that apparently went pretty late after the midnight hour, and he was driving himself home. But yes, that is pretty unusual for him to be by himself.
Superintendent and I talk on a regular basis. We've already obviously started talking about the things that we need to put in place for next year. When the time comes that he is gone, then it's appropriate for me to have that conversation, but we're not there yet.
Sources tell WGN Johnson will step down by the end of the year. There are reports an announcement is coming this week and that Lightfoot will interview a former LAPD police chief.
I don't know what you're talking about a meeting with Charlie Beck. I mean, I've seen a lot of speculation about different names, some of which are wildly off base. But as I said, we have a superintendent who is in place, and when the time comes to make an announcement, we'll make that announcement.
Thinking about retiring, though he stressed it had nothing to do with an Inspector General investigation of him being found slumped over in his car on a night when he'd been drinking. Former Police Superintendent Gary McCarthy says he's been watching the Johnson developments.
Today I'm announcing that I terminated Eddie Johnson's employment as superintendent of the Chicago Police Department for cause effective immediately. Upon reviewing the materials as to Eddie Johnson and the Inspector General's ongoing investigation regarding the events of October 16th and early morning hours of October 17th and thereafter, it has become clear that Mr. Johnson engaged in a series of actions that are intolerable for any leader in a position of trust, particularly the head of the Chicago Police Department. This is obviously not a decision that I entered into lightly. However, the circumstances demanded these actions.
You're fired.
Finding for the Inspector General's report regarding Mr. Johnson, which I recently reviewed, makes clear that Eddie Johnson engaged in conduct that is not only unbecoming, but demonstrated a series of ethical lapses and flawed decision-making that is inconsistent with having the privilege of leading the Chicago Police Department. Second, Johnson intentionally misled the public in a press conference he called on October 17, 2019. He was not caught off guard, and he had plenty of time to choose his words. And the choice he made was a communicated narrative replete with false statements, all seemingly intended to hide the true nature of his conduct from the evening before. Finally, just like with the public, Eddie Johnson intentionally lied to me several times. Even when I challenged him about the narrative that he shared with me, he maintained that he was telling the truth. I now know definitively that he was not. Had I known these facts at the time, I would have relieved him of his duties as superintendent then and there.
You're fired.